See if we can have somebody take a couple pictures too
Oh, yeah.
while we're sitting here with our little setup and all.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of the JV Sports Show live here on a Tuesday night from the Roadhouse Bar and Grill in Cave Creek, Arizona. This special edition is actually the coaches show for the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference, so it's our inaugural show. Vince DeLisio here with my broadcast partner, James Poovey. James, what do you think?
It's going to be a great time tonight, Vince. You know, the league is getting a ton of attention, and that's a great thing. A lot of excellent athletes. A couple of games we've done so far, competitive. You know, the first one not so competitive, but still that was a very established football team with the Mexico Military Institute. So, you know, it was expected they were going to score a lot of points, but a lot of attention. There's a ton of interest in this league.
Kind of wind
We're getting blown over here with our,
I
with
think,
our
you know,
banners.
the biggest thing, and we'll get that straight out in the break, but I think the biggest thing with you know,
I don't
we're
think
not,
we will,
whoa! All right.
It's live
We're
television.
live. Hey, it's live TV.
There we
Okay,
go.
so the biggest thing with the league is the fact that, you know, obviously the focus is on the play of the teams, you know, and getting things going, getting it going right, and making this league as competitive as can be. But the fact that we're sitting here today, a year ago, you wouldn't have thought, because there wasn't a solution to this issue of the junior colleges in the state of Arizona dropping football. They did. We came, we saw, we overcame, and here we are now, you know, a year later, or less than a year later, sitting here recapping the second game of the season for the Maricopa Mustangs and the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. And we're going to be joined shortly here by one of the league organizers and the head football coach for the Mustangs, formerly of Scottsdale Community College, Mr. Doug Medosky. So we're real excited to bring Coach Medosky here to you this evening. But again, the focus being on the fact that you know, less than a year ago, we didn't even know what was going to happen, and now we're here and we have a viable league and we've got viable options and opportunities for young people to continue their careers, their playing careers, as a major stepping stone to college football at the university level. And this is one important step to doing that. And now that it's been restored and we have this thing going, it's you know, we're full bore ahead.
Well, you mentioned Coach Medosky, along with the director of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference, Coach Stephen Weiss.
Yep.
And those are a couple of gentlemen who have passion for the game. They refuse to let these kids just have the rug yanked out from under them with no football, nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, and really not a whole lot of direction. But they decided they were going to put this thing back together, and it's been hugely successful, I would say, so far, Vince.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is I think we need to take a break.
I think we do,
We're gonna
yes.
take a break. We're going to fix that. Maybe I'll get my kids are here tonight. We'll get them to hold those for the show. And then we're going to come back with Coach Doug Medosky right after the break. That's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Business owner. Vince here. Baby Sports. Are you a fan of junior college, all college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio audience, both locally and up with the JV Sports Show. Help promote your business, help support exclusive coverage of NAIA to a Division II and III. Check us out at www.com and let us share the benefits of partnering with and I, JV Sports.
Home lending the old-fashioned way, the way with Finance of America mortgage needed to in the loan process. Today, fast-paced world you in person. We have a variety of home to fit your needs. Learn more about how products from Finance of America Mortgage could help you achieve your financial goals. Contact 308-385 or stop by their office located on Grand Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff team believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to a special edition of the JV Sports Show, coming to you live here from Roadhouse in Cave Creek. We are now joined by the head coach of the Maricopa Mustangs, Mr. Doug Madosky. Coach, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having. Appreciate you coming on here with us.
So, Coach, James and I, in our lead into this segment, we talked a little bit about the history, about there were so many uncertainties out there. You've been on this thing. You're basically, on the ground floor, ground zero, what have you, with getting this thing started. How did the conversations even start? How did you start to formulate a plan to start this league?
I think at the end of the day, it was just a matter of a real need to take care of these kids. We wanted to make sure they had the opportunity to play football, obviously the opportunity to get an education. I was a community college football player myself, and I recognize the importance of community college football and what it can do to transform somebody's life. We wanted to make sure that we could find a way to make that happen if it was feasible to do so.
And so you started a plan, and with that plan, there were a couple of folks that came together that started coming up with some ideas. How did you decide on the league name, the number of teams, where you were going to draw from? Obviously, being in a major metropolitan area, that's not that hard to figure that out. But how did all that start to come together?
I think for us, on an initial level, we looked at it and said we didn't want to lock ourselves into certain cities as traditional community college football had been done here in the past. And in doing so, I've got a history degree, and obviously there's a huge Native American population and history here in the state of Arizona. So we looked at that as an opportunity for us to talk about rising from the ashes and a different group of people that, at one point in history had been marginalized, and the need to, obviously take care of that population, of that group, and move forward. And we thought, interestingly enough, it's very similar to what football is happening right now.
Well, Coach, when you had these kids, when you went out and began to talk to them, they were probably pretty downtrodden with the demise of junior college football and not really knowing where to turn. What was your selling point initially to them to let them know, hey, this is the real deal, this is going to happen, we know what we're doing with this whole thing, we've been around the game, we've been around this area and these players for a long time, and believe in this, and we're going to get this thing done. How did you sell that to them?
I think the first thing that was important was making sure that we actually had a viable league. I know in Scottsdale we wanted to make sure that we moved our student athletes on as quickly as possible, even if it meant to other community colleges, even while we may have been working behind the scenes for this, because we didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver. At the end of the day, these kids had already been through enough, and we wanted to make sure that anytime we presented this opportunity, we were presenting a real opportunity, not a fictitious one that we thought we could make happen. Obviously there's 4 million people in the Phoenix Valley, and it's obviously supported junior college football in the past. So I think that for us it was important to just go back out to that community that we'd been in before and talk about what it is that we're doing, the similarities, and the way that we truly feel like we have the best path forward, and are obviously really experienced at doing this with the coaches that we brought on board with us.
Nimmy and Snow, how did you get them to buy in? Because your inaugural game was against New Mexico Military Institute, the Broncos, and they came here a week ago. I mean, what was the selling point there? Were they believers early on?
Well, I think obviously they had to believe early on. Joe and Coach Fortuner, he'd been a part of the WSFL in the past. and New Mexico Military had eventually left that and went into the Texas League. But I think that, again, it shows the brotherhood of football, and especially at the community college level, that, I've known Joe for a long time, and Joe's known other coaches that are in this league, obviously, as a competitor in the league. And I think that he realized that if these guys are saying they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And that was really where we were at with everybody, with Snow College and New Mexico Military. We wanted to make sure that we played an NJCAA schedule if we could, at least get some of those teams on there, despite the fact that we were limited from a resource standpoint to travel. But those guys jumped on board and obviously are supportive of bringing junior college football back to the state of Arizona and wanted to lend their help in doing so.
So you originally, for quite a few months, you were 3 teams. It was the Maricopa Mustangs, it was the Gila River Hawks, and it was the Salt River Scorpions, I believe. Adding the other 2, how did all that come about?
Part of that was just a matter of looking at a viable schedule. When we first started, when Steve and I first talked about bringing a privatized junior college football team together, we had looked at it being 1, perhaps 2 teams. With the decision of Pima, Eastern Arizona, Arizona Western, we started to look at it and say, what is the viability of a schedule, and what can we ultimately do to make sure that it is viable? And that's where we started looking at it using the old Maricopa model, the WSFL model of the Maricopa schools playing each other twice. And we felt like if we could get to 5 teams, that guaranteed us 8 games. It gave every coach an opportunity to schedule a 9th one with an outside school, just like we did with New Mexico Military and obviously the Gila River Hawks playing Snow College. So that we started there needing just the games, so we wanted to make sure to have a schedule that would get these kids recruited.
What's some initial feedback that you've heard, not only from your colleagues in the coaching ranks, but maybe other members of the community as far as the league goes? What's the initial feedback?
I think it's gone from being skeptical at first to being, it's always been positive, but it was, they were skeptical. Is it really going to take place? Is it really going to happen? Nobody's gotten this far in the process, and it's gone from being, we're skeptical to, okay, now we got to pay attention, and I think that it's been very positive. I think that, there's been a lot of people showing up to the football games. There's been a lot of interest from 4-year schools in regards to recruiting our student athletes. I know that we had 20 Division I schools that had inquired with our coaching staff alone last week about making sure that they watch the broadcast of the game to see our kids play. That is a different model that we're working through here, is that instead of having schools recruit individual schools or individual programs, the conference itself is going to be responsible to help recruit and place every one of our athletes, regardless of team. So it's almost one-stop shopping throughout the state of Arizona from a placement standpoint.
That's great.
Well, you talk about watching the games, and the games are archived, obviously, so people can go back and watch them. But we've had, on the first game with NIMI, nearly 3,500 views, which is unheard of, number 1, for a junior college football game, number 2, on YouTube Live. And the second game, which was this past weekend, we already were over, for 2 local teams, we're over 2,100 views, so which is just incredible. It shows the amount of interest, obviously, the curiosity, and people wanting to know more about this league. Now, speaking of which, you have 3 players that you selected that you wanted to be on this inaugural show. James and I have had the honor and the pleasure of seeing all 3 of them play. We really like these guys. But tell our viewing audience a little bit about, starting with your cornerback, Jalen Harbor.
Jalen's a kid that came to us from Alabama last year. He played for me at Scottsdale Community College. Had a lot of offers, a lot of interest to move on to a 4-year school. He needed to complete his academic requirements to do so. Ended up signing, oddly enough, with New Mexico Military Institute, and we pulled him back. He was a kid that we didn't want to miss out on having back. So he came back for us. He plays corner. He does a great job for us. Samante is a big offensive line kid out of Washington. We recruited Samante as a defensive lineman, ended up converting him over to the offensive line position. He's another kid who's blowing up from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of interest happening right now.
Samante Davis Andrews. And is he fairly versatile on the line? Can he play multiple positions?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a 6'5", 295-pound kid, and he looks like he can move.
He looks like he's supposed to. There's no question. He looks like they're supposed to.
Tell us about Prince Lawler, the linebacker, big linebacker. I thought he was an offensive lineman.
So Prince, he's eating himself into one.
We have to run some sprints when we're done here.
Prince was actually a kid that we recruited originally as a running back out of Washington.
Okay.
And his film as a running back was unbelievable. But when we got him, he started out as a running back, and we ended up converting him over to linebacker.
Okay.
Last year, probably 2 or 3 games into the season, he ended up having a heck of a season as a linebacker.
Yeah.
Started getting a lot of national interest and national attention for a scholarship standpoint. Made all conference honors, all state honors, everything honors.
There's absolutely no reason why we wouldn't see either or all of these 3 kids playing on Sunday someday.
I would say that if they work their tails off, they got a shot. They certainly are Division I football players, no question.
Wow, and it's amazing, and it's in this league, the Holcomb Junior College Athletic Conference, and so it's just amazing. Well, enough said. James, what do you think? Should we bring on our first one?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we will come back right after the break. We're going to bring on cornerback, jersey number 2 for the Maricopa Mustangs, Phoenix City, Alabama's favorite son, Jalen Harper. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Home lending done the old-fashioned way. The Wyckoff team with Finance of America Mortgage will take the time needed to explain every step in the loan process. In today's it's nice to work with a lender you can meet in fit your needs. Products from Finance of America Mortgage help you financial. Contact the Wyckoff team today, 308-5385, or stop by their office located on Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to the Ho-Ho-Com Junior College Athletic Conference Coaches Show. James Poovey here alongside my partner Vince Delicio. A special edition of the JV Sports Show. We're pleased to be joined right now by cornerback Jalen Harper from the Maricopa Mustangs out of Phoenix City, Alabama. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, guys.
Jalen, we had you on our radio show a couple of weeks back, and you have a very interesting story to tell. And it's not unlike a lot of other guys that have played, that have had the journey in going through junior colleges. But you're from Alabama. Now, the name of the city you're from is Phoenix City, and now you're out in Phoenix, but in a much bigger city in Arizona. How did you end up out here?
Well, initially I was in Kansas first.
Okay, Kansas.
I contacted Coach Medosky, and after I left from Kansas after the spring of 2018, and I came out here with Coach Medosky.
How did you end up? How did you end up contacting him in the first place? How did you know Coach Medosky?
Well, I was just looking for another JUCO to go to. I was at Highland Community College, and I was looking for another junior college to go to and have a fresh start. So I just found Scottsdale, and I contacted Coach Medosky.
Okay, so did it have something to do with the mascot being the artichokes? You like that, or the color being pink and green, or what was it perhaps maybe his winning reputation?
I saw all the guys going D1, so
the guys that he was placing at D1 and other schools that kind of attracted you to Scottsdale then.
Yes,
okay,
sir. So I just wanted to be a part of that.
All right. So you had kind of a rough go when you got here. You were in a big city all alone, right? You didn't know anybody. Your living situation wasn't that stable initially, but you found your niche. You started playing, you started balling, and then some offers started pouring in.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, and who signed you?
I signed with Portland State.
Portland State Vikings, okay?
Yes, sir.
And did you end up going out there, or did you have what ended up happening?
I did not. I took an official visit back in January, and then I decided I was going to come back with Medosky and receive more offers, FBS.
Okay.
What were your first impressions when you joined the Maricopa Mustangs as far as the team and the culture and everything that Coach Medosky was putting in there?
Well, first impressions, I just expected, it's Coach Medosky coaching. He acts like he's a hard-nosed guy, so that's what it's
going to be, right?
Yes. That's
All right.
So, and you got in good with the staff. They were looking out for you. They They were almost like, in our conversation before on the radio, you talked about how these guys were like father figures to you because they watched out for you. They wanted to help you, and it was more than just being, a teacher. It was, a coach. It's somebody that looks out for you and makes sure that you're on the right path, and that's what they did for you. Now, you had an option, as Coach said. You had signed with NIMI after the league, the Maricopa Community Colleges dropped football this past year, right? So you were on your way to Roswell, New Mexico to be a Bronco. What drew you back here?
Well, I left Texas. I was at my aunt's house.
Okay.
And I went to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I was just sitting there thinking for a minute. I was just like, I know coaches there. I don't know anything about New Mexico. And I know I can go in and compete right away and play for Coach Madowski.
Okay.
Somebody, a familiar face. And then I just was like, I'll just go back to Arizona where I was at before.
Okay.
Although it obviously wasn't the outcome you wanted in those first 2 games this season so far, how much fun did you have getting out there and playing football again?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, it was exciting.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you the rest of the way, Jalen, and obviously calling your name out a lot. So thanks so much, Jalen Harbor, for joining us. And anybody you want to say hello to at home?
Oh, nobody. Actually,
Look right over there and say hi.
All my boys, Don Williams, got to take care of my family. That's
Okay. All right. Take care of his family. Okay. Jalen Harbor, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be right back on the special edition of the JV Sports Show, the HJCAC Coaches Show, right after the break.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Home mortgage lending done the old-fashioned way. The Wyckoff team with Finance of America Mortgage will take the time needed to explain every step in the loan process. And it's nice to work with a lender you can meet in of home loans fit your needs. Learn more about how lending could achieve your financial goals. Contact today at 623-308-5385 or stop by their office located on Grand Avenue just north of Bell Road in beautiful Surprise, Arizona. The Wyckoff team believes you shouldn't have to feel alone. Finance of America Mortgage, where business is always personal.
Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to this special edition of the JV Sports Show, the HJCAC Coaches Show, the inaugural edition of the Coaches Show. James and Vince are here with Samante Andrews, number 51, right tackle for the Maricopa Mustangs. Samante, how you doing?
Doing all right. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great, man. We're doing
good.
great. So Tacoma, Washington. So how did your travels? How did you end up coming out to Phoenix, Arizona?
So last fall, I was talking to coaches and stuff like that when I put out my film back when I was a senior or whatever.
Okay.
And then I got in touch with Coach Madowski, Coach Weiss, and Coach Ortiz a little bit. And then we just put it together, and I felt like this was the best option for me to come out here in Arizona.
Now, Coach Weiss, so you were a defensive lineman in high school. You came out here, you were going to be a defensive lineman.
Yeah, I played D-line originally.
Okay.
I played a little both sides in high school and stuff like that.
Okay.
The team needed me, so I played both ways.
Okay, and so who was it that talked you into going on the other side of the line? And did they wait until after you got here? They do that, don't they?
Yeah, they do it sometimes, but
okay.
They knew my film was good enough to where I can help on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
So I sat down with Coach Madowski and stuff like that, and we just decided it was probably the best decision for us. Help out the team going forward and help myself in the future. So
Good.
I moved to O-line.
Okay.
What do you think makes you such a versatile player? Is it your feet? Is it your hands? Is it the combination of both? Is it a little quickness? What do you got going on?
I think I excel, make myself different, separate myself. Is I'm real athletic compared to a lot of O-linemen. I got real good feet. Work on that a lot.
All right.
A lot of agility in the offseason, stuff like that. And I got good hands. So I used to play D-line, and I just real aggressive like a D-lineman. So bring that to the opposite side of the ball, separate myself.
I like it.
Well, the roster lists you at 6'5", 295, so you're good size for an offensive lineman. Have college coaches talked to you about gaining any more weight, or do they like you right where you're at, or?
They like me to come in right where I'm at and then build it up in the program and stuff like that. If they want me to gain a little bit more, a little bit more, depending on the position I'm playing.
So what are you hoping to accomplish playing in this league this year? I mean, what's your goal?
My goal this year is to get a little bit more film. Film's pretty good from the Scottsdale season. Get a little bit more film, get a little bit more exposure, stuff like that, get the grades right academically, and move on to the next level.
Now, in terms of moving on to the next level, do you have a preference as to where do you want to move closer to home? Do you care where you go? Will you go anywhere in the country? What's your thoughts on that? Because that's got to be going through your mind as you watch games on Saturday afternoons too.
My preference really was Oregon all my life, stuff like that. I always want to be an Oregon guy, close to home.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I really go and play anywhere in the country.
Okay.
I really like ASU too.
Oh, good. Local. All right. Nice. Okay.
Well, Samante, we appreciate you coming on here with us tonight. Samante Andrews, number 51 from the Maricopa Mustangs. A great visit with him. We'll take a short break here on the JV Sports Show. We'll come right back, and we'll bring on Princeton Lawler, linebacker for the Maricopa Mustangs. You're watching a special edition of the JV Sports Show. Here's the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference Coaches Show, and we'll be right back after this.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help your business to help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NCAA Division 2 and 3 sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show special edition here, the HJCAC Coaches Show. We are here with Maricopa Mustangs All-American linebacker Prince Lawler. Prince, how did you end up here?
Well, I mean, I started off, I went to Hutchinson, Kansas when I came out of high school.
What, high school in Seattle? Oak Harbor.
I'm from Oak Harbor.
Oak Harbor.
Yeah, so
you went out to Hutchinson, Kansas.
I actually played running back. So when I came out here to Scottsdale, Coach Wise and Coach Madowski, they helped me get out here and everything like that.
Okay.
I made a transition to linebacker last season. This is actually my only second season at linebacker.
From what position did you play before that?
I was a running back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was running back, so coming out of high school, so this is my second season at linebacker.
So, okay, so what was your playing weight in high school? Were you 6'2" your senior year in high school?
I was maybe like 6 foot, 6'1".
6'6". What was your playing weight?
I was playing around like 260 to be honest.
260.
I was playing 260.
So you've lost weight.
Yeah, I've lost weight. I was big back, man.
Yeah. How many yards did you gain in your senior year?
I actually led the state my senior year in rushing yards. I had 2,100 yards.
Holy smokes!
So
wow.
Doing my thing. I play all over the field, man.
Yeah. Do you like the move to linebacker now?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
You're All-American at Scottsdale last year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
What would you
Nice.
say is the big difference from being the hittee to now being the hitter on defense and laying the licks instead of getting the one getting it?
I love it, honestly. I feel like I got more opportunities at playing linebacker. So, I like flying around the field, making plays.
And how important is it to you for your defensive lineman up front to do good so you can flow and make those big time plays and make those big stops?
It's real important. We got some good guys up right now. We got CJ, we got Jesse up there. They've been doing a pretty good job. We got some mental things we got to work on, but
sure.
we're gonna get it together.
Very good.
Without giving us the names of the schools now, you obviously have had some contact from some Division I programs that are kind of kicking the tires on you a little bit, getting a feel for who you are as a person. They could see what they see on film and what you're doing and all the accolades you've had. But give us some conferences of schools that have been sniffing around.
It's been pretty slow. Near the end of last season, I was talking to a few big-time D2 schools like Virginia State.
Sure.
I had a few coaches here and there follow me on Twitter. But, nothing too serious right now, but, I plan on having a good season this year so I can, pick that up in the recruiting process.
And the question that we asked Samante was, do you have a preference as to where you go? Do you want to stay close to home, or are you open to anything and everything in terms of the program and seeing what's out there?
At first, when I first came out of high school, a little homesick, so I wanted to stay on the West Coast, but honestly, it came to the point, I just want to play football, so I'll go anywhere in the country. Whoever wants to give me a chance, I'm gonna go play ball. So
there you go. Somebody's got to give this young man a chance. He's a sure thing. He's an All-American coming out of. He played at Scottsdale Community College last year. It's his sophomore year now with the Maricopa Mustangs. He played we called his name a lot the other night.
A lot.
And is a heck of a linebacker. He's listed 6'2", 243 pounds. We expect some big things from him this season, and it's going to be a great year for you.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for coming on with us. We're very impressed with your play, and we look forward to seeing you here throughout the rest of the season. And Prince Lawler, number 7, linebacker for the Maricopa Mustangs out of Oak Harbor in Seattle, Washington. Thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Prince.
We're going to take a short break once again here, and when we come back, we'll have Coach Doug Madosky on to wrap things up, and we'll look ahead at a couple of the games coming up this weekend for the Ho-Ho-Cum Junior College Athletic Conference and preview those games. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, all you business owners. Vince here from the JV Sports Show. Are you a fan of junior college and small college sports? Want to reach an established and growing sports radio listening audience both locally and abroad? Partner up with the JV Sports Show. We can help promote your business while you help support exclusive coverage of junior college, NAIA, NC2A Division II and III sports. Check us out at www.jvsportshow.com and let us show you the benefits of partnering up with James and I on the JV Sports Show.
Long Realty is the go-to for all your real estate needs. Local buyer looking in the West Valley? Call our trusted partners at Long. Out-of-state friends looking for a home in the beautiful Valley of the Sun? Call Long. Selling? Call Long, and they'll make your home long gone. Call 623-584-5384 and mention the JV Sports Show to get a free market analysis. Long Realty, located in beautiful Surprise, Arizona on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to the HJCAC Coaches Show. And we are back with Coach Doug Madosky, head coach of the Maricopa Mustangs. Coach, we brought you back on because we wanted to talk a little bit about what's next and what we're going to be seeing this weekend. So there's 2 games scheduled this week between the Salt River Scorpions and the Maricopa Mustangs, your team. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen, or I should say what you know about the Scorpions.
It's really kind of unique. We obviously opened the season as the only team playing against New Mexico Military, and then we followed that up by being virtually no film against the Gila River Hawks, and now we're opening the 3rd week with a team that we really don't know a hell of a lot about.
Yeah.
And I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek with the idea that obviously I know Coach Daniels. He was at Phoenix College in the past, I think back in 14 and 15.
Yep.
When he was at Phoenix College, obviously we played him at Scottsdale Community College, so we have a decent idea of who he is. And former offensive lineman, typically those O-line guys, they like to run the football a little bit. I'm sure they're going to take some shots down the field as well. He's not going to be, true 1960s football. But it should be a heck of a matchup.
And talk about the other game a little bit, Coach. Obviously, your game against the Salt River Scorpions, that'll be at Mountain Ridge High School, correct?
Correct.
And then the other game that evening will be Sonoran Sidewinders at the Papago Pumas. Where will that be held?
That game is going to be held at Mesa High School,
Okay.
over in Mesa, and that's going to be another guy coming back into the conference to coach again. Obviously, with John O'Meara at Sonoran Sidewinders, he's the former coach of Eastern Arizona, so obviously he's going to run that triple option. He runs that better than a lot of guys run it. I know I've got a coach on my on both the Mustangs team and my Mountain Ridge team that's from Nebraska, so I'm sure he's looking forward to seeing the triple option be ran again when it's our turn to play them. But that'll be Coach O'Meara and Coach Sowers squaring off on that game. And Coach Sowers has been obviously a part of the WSFL in a number of different roles as offensive line coaches. He's coached for me at Scottsdale Community College. He's also coached for Coach Felker over at Mesa Community College. So he's kind of the one guy in the entire group that is really an unknown. Nobody's really sure exactly what he's going to do. When he was the head coach at Cortez High School, he tried to pound the ball a little bit more. Again, another offensive line guy. But kind of the unique piece is when you talk about the Scorpions, and you obviously know Coach Daniels in his time at PC, and Coach O'Meara with the Sidewinders, and obviously me at Scottsdale, and Coach Felker, who's been at Mason in the past. He really is the anomaly that sits out there.
Yeah, he's the wild card because of the fact that he hasn't been a head coach at this level, but he's developed so many guys that have played at this level that he's pushed along. So he's obviously tapping into his experience of, when we had him on and we did the our coaches roundtable with you coaches, how long ago was that? Maybe 2 months back, James?
Yeah,
a couple of months back. And I asked him point blank, I said, Coach, in the last 5 years, this being Coach Sowers, how many guys have you sent along? And in the last 5. And he said 40. 40 guys that he's helped to move along to whether it be Division I, Division II, NAIA scholarships. So he's obviously going to be using that to his advantage to bring guys in with the idea is, hey, come in, I'm going to develop you. But what I'm really curious about is, what kind of offense is he going to run? What kind of defense is he going to, now that he's manning the controls, and what type of a coaching staff that he's surrounded himself with, and I'm sure those are questions that you already have an answer to, knowing, running in such a small circle, but at the same time, there's some unknowns there. So it'll be really interesting. I'm really interested to see how he does versus that triple option. And I'm also very interested to see, obviously, that other game and seeing Coach Daniels and the team that he fields, because he's been watching you the last couple of weeks. I've seen him at both games, and I've tried to get him on camera, and he's like, no, I'm not here. How can you not be here when you're 6'7" and you're sitting right in front of our press box?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, anyway, it'll be a really interesting week. It's going to be a fun week, James, and we're looking forward to coming back. What's next for us? So what's next for us is Saturday morning. We have our JUCO segment on our radio show Saturday morning at 7:45. So we'll decide on who we're going to have on for that segment. So that'll be fun. So make sure and tune in. Our next game we're covering is the 14th. It'll be the Pumas at the Hawks. So that'll be an interesting matchup
out
as
of
well.
Campo Verde High School in Gilbert.
Yes, out of Campo Verde. So we'll have a chance to see firsthand Coach Sowers and his team and how he interacts with those guys and what type of product he puts on the field. So it'll be a lot of fun. James, when's our next coaches show?
Next coaches show will be 2 weeks from tonight, on the 17th of September. So that'll be a good one, the next Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference coaches show. Yeah, and it'll probably be a little bit closer to 8 o'clock, and, with the wind and whatnot and some of the technical difficulties with our banner, live TV, we're gonna start it a little bit earlier. So by all means, anybody that's in and around the Cave Creek area, come on out, join us. If not, you can certainly tune in to this live YouTube channel, but Roadhouse has been a great facility. Ride your motorcycle down.
Ride your motorcycle down. General Manager Kevin Price here has been, and the staff has been great great hosts here. We're on the outside stage. There's karaoke going on inside, so if you get bored with the show, you can step inside and sing a little, Led Zeppelin or something, I guess.
Sure.
But,
little Skinner over here.
Yeah. Coach, you have a favorite artist? Johnny Cash, there you go. Okay, I can see that. I can totally see that. But anyway, so thank you so much for joining us, James.
It was a great show.
Yes.
The inaugural Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference Coaches Show. It's been a pleasure to bring it to you here from the Roadhouse in Cave Creek.
Yes.
Until next time, 2 weeks from tonight, take care. Make sure and get out there and check out some of the action this coming weekend out at Mountain Ridge High School and over at Mesa High with the Papago Pumas. So everyone take care, and until next time, we'll see you.
And listen to us Saturday morning, 7:45, JUCO Report. Go JV.